There are a lot of reasons why people think Nick Saban is the greatest of all time. His record, obviously, in college is the best ever. I like to consider Nick Saban one of the best leaders of all time. And not just because he wins, but because of the things that he says about his players, about how he teaches them, about how he leads them, not just to become an NFL draft pick, because he has a lot of those, not just because they got lots of NIL money, which I know he despises, but how he holds them accountable to the process and his leadership style. Sometimes I get animated about things and I don't have any filter. And I know Nick tries to do his best, and I could only wish I could be in those conversations behind closed doors about what the man really thinks. Because he does say some things publicly, I'm like, damn, but I like it. Because that's my style too. And I'm a college football fan, not an Alabama fan. I have respect for his program. I have respect for him as a human being, as a leader of young men who mold them into being men. And I think that's the most important job that we have as fathers, as mothers, as parents, that we need to mold our children into being men and women, not just kids, and not treat them like that. There was an interview that Nick had not too long ago. And this interview and his response to this question was about 70 seconds long. That's it. 70 seconds. And I'm going to share some of that with you because I think in this day and age, with what society tells our young people they can be, and all of these things that they tell them that you don't have to do this because you were basically born on a pedestal, that the rules don't apply to you. And if you get mad, you can just cry foul or cry some of these other things. Well, guess what, kids? No one cares. And the ones who do are not truly there to help you. They're there to enable you. And so I'm going to share some of this conversation with you. And he was asked this question after a practice once. Nick has this belief, and I agree with this, that kids or men, women, or especially college athletes have this illusion of choice. Like they have a choice in how they work and the disciplines they use, and it's all going to work out the same. That they have this choice not to put in the work and still obtain the same result as someone who works their tail off to achieve it. Because we have created that for them. We have told them it's okay. I'm going to read you his response. And his response is, these guys think they all have this illusion of choice, like they can do whatever they want to do. You have a younger generation now that doesn't always get told no. They don't get told this is exactly how you need to do it. So they have this illusion that they have all of these choices. But the fact of the matter is, if you want to be good, you really don't have a lot of choices. It takes what it takes. You have to do what you have to do to be successful. You have to make the choices and decisions to have the discipline and the focus to the process of what you need to do to accomplish your goals. I don't know about y'all, but that is some very powerful stuff. I try to teach my kids this. It doesn't always sink in. As leaders, as a business, I'm going to teach people the same thing. You don't try to get to do what you want to do sometimes and have the same result of people who are really putting in the work. That's not the way the world works. But I want to read you some key takeaways. These are my takeaways to this. Sometimes the best way to learn is from the mistakes you make. To me, that's life's greatest teacher, is failures and the mistakes that we make. I am where I am today, not because of the things that I did right, but because I learned from the things that I did wrong. We all hate to see them, but we have to make them, and we don't condone it when they do. So here are some of my takeaways in this. Excellence has a price. We can complain about it, but it's a fact of life. Most people don't want to pay the price. They just haven't admitted that to themselves. They don't want to do it. They just want to go through the motions, keep doing what they're doing, and expect excellence in return. That's not the way the world works, folks. Saying you want to be excellent is easy. Becoming excellent is hard. There may not be one way to become great, but there are very few ways to become great. And they all have discipline and consistency in common. Every action we take is a choice. We're not choosing to make progress, then we're just not making progress. But it's all a conscious choice. Everything is a choice, good or bad. The formula for becoming successful, your daily choices times time. It's simple. What we make it complicated. We want to make ourselves sound smart, or we've just reinvented something when you have not. This has been a discipline since the beginning of time. Sometimes we learn more by making the wrong choices. Reflect on them, pull out the lessons, and move on. The difference between your average Joe and the high performers still go through the same shit. They just don't dwell on those choices. Dwell over it for 15 minutes and they move on. The low performers let it hang over them forever. There are no long-term hacks. We've told people that we can create hacks in this life. There is no hack. It takes what it takes. And it's not any different now than it was 40 years ago. But what we have told people is that it is different. You've got all these self-proclaimed get-rich-quick people or these enablers of children who tell them you are special and you can do it if you don't have to put in the work. Well, I'm here to tell you, you can't. It is no different. Nick Saban, you can call him what you want. Some people might think he's just a pure asshole, and that's fair. But you cannot deny that the man creates greatness in the players that he recruits because that's what he expects, and he does not lower the standard. And for that is what makes him the greatest of all time.